Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023, Chapter 1, Preliminary, Section 1, 3T. Chapter 1, Preliminary, Section 1, Short Title, Commencement and Application. 1. This Act may be called the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023. 2. It shall come into force on such dation as the central government may, by notification in the official gazette, appoint, and different dates may be appointed for different provisions of this Sanhita. 3. Every person shall be liable to punishment under this Sanhita, and not otherwise for every act or omission contrary to the provisions thereof, of which he shall be guilty within India. 4. Any person liable, by any law for the time being in force in India, to be tried for an offense committed beyond India shall be dealt with according to the provisions of this Sanhita for any act committed beyond India in the same manner as if such act had been committed within India. 5. The provisions of this Sanhita shall also apply to any offense committed by a. any citizen of India in any place without and beyond India. b. Any person on any ship or aircraft registered in India wherever it may be. c. Any person in any place without and beyond India committing offense targeting a computer resource located in India. Explanation: in this section, the word offense includes every act committed outside India which, if committed in India, would be punishable under this Sanhita. Illustration: a. Who is a citizen of India commits a murder in any place without and beyond India. He can be tried and convicted of murder in any place in India in which he may be found, and they may. 6. Nothing in this Sanhita shall affect the provisions of any act for punishing mutiny and desertion of officers, soldiers, sailors, or airmen in the service of the government of India, or the provisions of any special or local law. Section 1. 1. This law is officially called the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023. Section 1. 2. The law will take effect on a date chosen by the central government. They will announce this date in an official publication, official gazette. Section 1. Anyone who breaks the rules of this law within India will be punished according to this law only, and not by any other law for those specific acts or failures. Illustration: if someone steals a bicycle in Delhi, they will be punished under the rules of the Bns 2023 for theft, and not under any other law for that act. Section 1. If someone commits a crime outside India, but can be tried in India under any Indian law, they will be punished under the BNS, as if the crime happened in India. Mubarak Ali Ahmed v. State of Bombay, 1957, Air 857. An Pakistani citizen was tried in India for cheating committed through letters sent from Karachi to Bombay. The Supreme Court held that crimes affecting India can be tried under Indian law, even if committed abroad, similar to this clause. Section 1. 5. The BNS applies to a. Indian citizens committing crimes anywhere in the world. b. Anyone on an Indian-registered ship or airplane, no matter where it is. c. Anyone committing a cybercrime targeting a computer system in India, even if they are outside India. K.M. Nanavati, 4th State of Maharashtra, 1962. Though this case primarily dealt with murder within India, the principle of jurisdiction over Indian citizens for serious crimes is relevant. If Nanavati had committed the crime abroad, he could still have been tried in India under similar provisions. Vinod Kumar, 1st State of Punjab, 2015. This case involved cybercrimes, where the court emphasized that offenses targeting Indian computer resources, for example, hacking, fall under Indian jurisdiction supporting Clause 5. C. Section 1. 6. The BNS does not affect laws that punish mutiny or desertion by military personnel, officers, soldiers, sailors, or airmen, or any special or local laws. Union of India v. Major General Madan Lal Yadav, 1996, the Supreme Court held that military personnel are subject to the Army Act for offenses like desertion, and civil criminal laws, like the IPC, now BNS, do not apply in such cases. This principle continues under the BNS. Section 2. Definitions. Words. Definitions. Act and act refers to any action or conduct. For example, stealing, hitting someone. Animal means any living creature, other than a human being. Child means any person below the age of 18 years. Counterfeit. A person is said to counterfeit who causes one thing to resemble another thing, intending by means of that resemblance to practice deception, or knowing it to be likely that deception will thereby be practiced. Court means a judge who is empowered by law to act judicially alone, or a body of judges which is empowered by law to act judicially as a body. When such judge or body of judges is acting judicially, death means the death of a human being unless the contrary appears from the context. Words. Definitions. Dishonestly means doing anything with the intention of causing wrongful gain to one person or wrongful loss to another person. Document means any matter expressed or described upon any substance by means of letters, figures, or marks, or by more than one of those means, and includes electronic and digital record, intended to be used, or which may be used as evidence of that matter. Fraudulently means doing anything with the intention to defraud, but not otherwise gendered. The pronoun he and its derivatives are used of any person, whether male, female, or transgender. Good faith. Nothing is said to be done or believed in good faith, which is done or believed without due care and attention. Words. Definitions. Government means the central government, or a state government. Harbor includes supplying a person with shelter, food, drink, money, clothes, arms, ammunition, or means of conveyance, or the assisting a person by any means, whether of the same kind as those enumerated in this clause or not. To evade apprehension. Injury means any harm whatever illegally caused to any person, in body, mind, reputation, or property. Illegal and legally bound. To do. The word illegal is applicable to everything which is an offense, or which is prohibited by law, or which furnishes ground for a civil action, and a person is said to be legally bound to do whatever it is illegal in him to omit. Words. Definitions. Judge means a person who is officially designated as a judge, and includes a person, who is empowered by law to give, in any legal proceeding, civil or criminal, a definitive judgment, or a judgment which, if not appealed against, would be definitive, or a judgment which, if confirmed by some other authority, would be definitive. Or 2. Who is one of a body or persons, which body of persons is empowered by law to give such a judgment. Illustration. A magistrate exercising jurisdiction in respect of a charge on which he has power to sentence to fine or imprisonment, with or without appeal, is a judge. Life means the life of a human being, unless the contrary appears from the context. Local law means a law applicable only to a particular part of India. Words. Definitions. Man means male human being of any age, month, and year, wherever the word month or the word year is used. It is to be understood that the month or the year is to be reckoned according to the Gregorian calendar. Movable property includes property of every description, except land and things attached to the earth, or permanently fastened to anything which is attached to the earth number, unless the contrary appears from the context. Words importing the singular number include the plural number, and words importing the plural number include the singular number. Oath includes a solemn affirmation substituted by law for an oath, and any declaration required or authorized by law to be made before a public servant, or to be used for the purpose of proof, whether in a court or not. Words. Definitions. Offense, except in the chapters and sections mentioned in subclauses A and B. The word offense means a thing made punishable by this Sanhita, but A. In Chapter 3 and in the following sections, namely subsections 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Section 8, Sections 9, 49, 50, 52, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 119, 120, 123. Subsections 7 and 8 of Section 127, 222, 230, 231, 240, 248, 250, 251, 259, 260, 261, 262, 263, subsections 6 and 7 of Section 308 and subsection 2 of Section 330. The word offense means a thing punishable under this Sanhita, or under any special law or local law. B. In subsection 1 of Section 189, Sections 211, 212, 238, 239, 249, 253 in subsection 1 of Section 329, the word offense shall have the same meaning when the act punishable under the special law or local law is punishable, under such law with imprisonment for a term of 6 months or more, whether with or without fine. Words definitions. Omission denotes, as well as a series of omissions, as a single omission person includes any company or association or body of persons. Whether incorporated or not, public includes any class of the public or any community. Reason to believe a person is said to have reason to believe a thing. If he has sufficient cause to believe that thing but not otherwise, special law means a law applicable to a particular subject. Valuable security means a document which is, or purports to be, a document whereby any legal right is created, extended, transferred, restricted, extinguished, or released, or whereby any person acknowledges that he lies under legal liability, or has not a certain legal right. Vessel means anything made for the conveyance by water of human beings or of property. Words definitions. Voluntarily, a person is said to cause an effect voluntarily when he causes it by means whereby he intended to cause it, or by means which, at the time of employing those means, he knew or had reason to believe to be likely to cause it. Will means any testamentary document. Woman means a female human being of any age. Wrongful gain means gain by unlawful means of property to which the person gaining is not legally entitled. Wrongful loss means the loss by unlawful means of property to which the person losing it is legally entitled. Gaining wrongfully and losing wrongfully, a person is said to gain wrongfully when such person retains wrongfully, as well as when such person acquires wrongfully. A person is said to lose wrongfully when such person is wrongfully kept out of any property, as well as when such person is wrongfully deprived of property. Words definitions. Public servant means a person falling under any of the descriptions, namely, A. Every commissioned officer in the Army, Navy, or Air Force. B. Every judge, including any person empowered by law to discharge, whether by himself or as a member of any body of persons, any adjudicatory functions. C. Every officer of a court, including a liquidator, receiver, or commissioner whose duty it is, as such officer, to investigate or report on any matter of law or fact, or to make, authenticate, or keep any document, or to charge or dispose of any property, or to execute any judicial process, or to administer any oath, or to interpret, or to preserve order in the court, and every person specially authorized by a court to perform any of such duties. D. Every assessor or member of a panchayat assisting a court or public servant. Every arbitrator or other person to whom any cause or matter has been referred for decision or report by any court, or by any other competent public authority. F. Every person who holds any office by virtue of which he is empowered to place or keep any person in confinement. Words definitions. Public servant. G. Every officer of the government whose duty it is, as such officer, to prevent offenses, to give information of offenses, to bring offenders to justice, or to protect the public health, safety, or convenience. H. Every officer whose duty it is, as such officer, to take, receive, keep, or expend any property on behalf of the government, or to make any survey, assessment, or contract on behalf of the government, or to execute any revenue process, or to investigate or to report on any matter affecting the pecuniary interests of the government, or to make, authenticate, or keep any document relating to the pecuniary interests of the government, or to prevent the infraction of any law for the protection of the pecuniary interests of the government, i.e., every officer whose duty it is, as such officer, to take, receive, keep, or expend any property, to make any survey or assessment, or to levy any rate or tax for any secular common purpose of any village, town, or district, or to make, authenticate, or keep any document for the ascertaining of the rights of the people of any village, town, or district. J. Every person who holds any office by virtue of which he is empowered to prepare, publish, maintain, or revise an electoral roll, or to conduct an election or part of an election. Words definitions: public servant. K. Every person. I. In the service or pay of the government, or remunerated by fees or commission for the performance of any public duty by the government. In the service or pay of a local authority as defined in Clause 31 of Section 3 of the General Clauses Act, 1897, 10 of 1897, a corporation established by or under a central or state act, or a government company, as defined in Clause 45 of Section 2 of the Companies Act, 2013, 18 of 2013. Explanation. A. Persons falling under any of the descriptions made in this clause are public servants, whether appointed by the government or not. B. Every person who is in actual possession of the situation of a public servant, whatever legal defect there may be in his right to hold that situation, is a public servant. C. Election means an election for the purpose of selecting members of any legislative, municipal, or other public authority, of whatever character, the method of selection to which is by or under any law for the time being in force. Illustration. A municipal commissioner is a public servant. Section 3. General explanations. Section 3. 1. Definitions in the Code to be understood subject to exceptions. Every definition of an offense, every penal provision. Every illustration of every such definition, penal provisions, shall be understood subject to the exceptions contained in the chapter entitled General Exceptions, Chapter 3, Bns. Though those exceptions are not repeated in such definition, penal provision, or illustration. Every expression which is explained in any part of this Sanhita is used in every part of this Sanhita in conformity with the explanation. Property in possession of wife, clerk, or servant is in that person's possession within the meaning of this code. Words referring to acts include illegal omissions. Words which refer to acts done extend also to illegal omissions. Intention: acts done by several persons in furtherance of common intention. When a criminal act is done by several persons in furtherance of the common intention of all, each of such persons is liable for that act in the same manner as if it were done by him alone. When such an act is criminal by reason of its being done with a criminal knowledge or intention, is done by several persons, each of such persons who joins in the act with such knowledge or intention is liable for the act in the same manner as if the act were done by him alone with that knowledge or intention, wherever the causing of a certain effect, or an attempt to cause that effect, by an act or by an omission, is an offense. It is to be understood that the causing of that effect, partly by an act and partly by an omission, is the same offense. When an offense is committed by means of several acts, whoever intentionally cooperates in the commission of that offense by doing any one of those acts, either singly or jointly with any other person, commits that offense. Where several persons are engaged or concerned in the commission of a criminal act, they may be guilty of different offenses by means of that act.